Welcome to Arcane Ops, the paranormal, unsolved, true crime conspiracy podcast. If this is your cup of ectoplasm, go to arcaneops.com where you can support us by joining the club and get yourself a t-shirt while you're there. Keep in mind, I'll be posting different content on different platforms, so subscribe, like, comment, share, leave reviews, and all that. If you do, I promise I'll keep posting awesome, bizarre content. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, Nick Van Horn, a cynical, mostly skeptical police detective who's fascinated by the unexplained and bizarre. Let's delve into the mysterious and arcane. So my wife and I were talking about how we're gonna deal with trick-or-treating, or lack thereof because of Rona. And we were talking about Halloween games we played as kids, and bobbing for apples came up. This has got to be one of the weirdest things ever thought of. This year you can drown your kids and spread corona, all from the same barrel. Sounds like an adventure. Anyway, last time we talked about 3 semi-famous haunted houses. This time we're only going to talk about 2, but that's because these 2 are much more famous. Before we get into it, you can find the show notes for this episode at arcaneops.com/003. Number 2, Bell Witch Farm, Adams, Tennessee. According to the internet, the Bell Witch haunting is one of U.S. history's most famous hauntings. The Bell Farm is in Adams, Tennessee, about 45 minutes north of Nashville on the Tennessee-Kentucky border. This story began in 1804 when John Bell and his family moved to the farm from North Carolina. For the first 13 years of their residency, the farm flourished. Then, in 1817, things started getting weird. Crazy weird. At first, Bell family members heard unusual sounds, knocking on the doors and walls, rats gnawing on bedposts, chains on the floor, gulping and choking. They also saw strange-looking animals. All this went on for about a year while the family kept it to themselves. John finally told his neighbor, James Johnson, about the strange stuff going on. James spent a few nights at the house and saw firsthand what was happening. He convinced John to tell more people about it, and they put together a makeshift investigation team. It wasn't long before people started coming from all over to see what was terrorizing the Bells' home. This unseen force gained power as time went on and eventually materialized a voice. As people asked the ghost who she was, she identified herself as Kate, the Bells' Witch, hence Bell Witch Farm. Kate never gave a clear answer as to why she was haunting the Bells, but some accounts say she was there to kill John Bell, while others say she was there to keep John's daughter, Betsy, from marrying Joshua Gardner. No one knows why Kate wanted either outcome, but there's speculation that she was on the losing side of a land deal with John at some point. Whatever the truth, Kate became more and more powerful and, over the next 3 years, physically assaulted and tormented the Bell family. John Bell became ill and got weaker and weaker. On December 20th, 1820, almost said 1920, wow, might as well have been 2020. On December 20th, 1820, John Bell died of a strange illness. Kate's materialized larynx allegedly claimed ownership of John's death. 3 months later, Betsy called off her engagement to Joshua Gardner. According to people who visited the farm while Kate was active, she was apparently quite knowledgeable in the Bible and could see people's pasts and futures. She could also be in 2 places at once, miles apart. Before Kate left in 1821, she told people she'd return in 7 years. She allegedly returned for a few weeks in 1828 and had long discussions with John Bell Jr. about his past, present, and future. During her 1828 visit, she said she would return in 107 years, which would be 1935. There don't seem to be any accounts of conversations with Kate around 1935, but local newspapers reported strange things going on in the area and had a heyday trying to connect them to the Bell Witch. The papers finally stopped publishing articles around 1937 when Betsy Bell's grandson asked them to, in his words, stop the rubbish you're publishing. Apparently, there wasn't much in the way of paranormal activity around this time, and a lot of people wondered if the Bell Witch forgot about her own fated return. On the flip side, many people believe the Bell Witch never left and has been causing strange things to happen periodically over the centuries. So let's take a look at this with a skeptical eye. All accounts of the Bell Witch are 200 years old or more. And this was only about 100 years after the Salem witch trials, when people didn't understand the things we know now. John Bell apparently had swelling in his throat and sometimes felt like there was a stick lodged sideways. If a modern medical doctor looked at this, maybe they'd say he had strep throat or laryngitis or any of the who knows how many sore throat illnesses a person can get. Without antibiotics or other modern treatments, a lot of these things could kill you. As far as Betsy calling off her engagement, maybe she just didn't want to marry the guy. Or maybe she was so afraid of the thing she fabricated in her mind that she thought she had to do it. I think a lot of this supposed haunting can be explained as naturally occurring, but at the same time, I'm not going to discount the fact that real witchcraft or something else may have been at play here. Since the Bell Witch seems to be AWOL, I guess we can only analyze the accounts of people who were there. The Bell Farm was so famous and had so many visitors that they had to tear the house down because it became a safety hazard. There's a replica of the Bell's house now that has a few artifacts from the original. They've got tours of the cabin and cave you can go on, but they're not taking visitors while Corona is running around. If you want to check it out and see when they open up again, you can go to bellwitchcave.com or click the link in the notes. Next time I'm in Nashville, I think I'm going to take a little detour to the Bell Farm and see what's up, assuming Rona's over by then. On to number 1, the White House. Yes, that White House. I sit in this old house all the while listening to the ghosts walk up and down the hallway. At 4 o'clock, I was awakened by 3 distinct knocks on my bedroom door. No one was there. Damn place is haunted, sure as shootin'. President Harry S. Truman. Few buildings in the United States have as rich a history as the White House. At 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House construction began in 1792. Completed in 1800, every sitting U.S. president since John Adams has lived there. In 1814, the White House was burned down by the British in the War of 1812. In 1862, Willie Lincoln became the only child to die in the White House. In 1865, Lincoln himself died in the White House mere hours after John Wilkes Booth shot him at Ford's Theater. Nearly every major event in U.S. history has some connection to this house and the people residing in it at the time. It has been a place of miracles and a place of damnations. It has been all these things, but today we're looking at hauntings. Let's get back to Lincoln. Lincoln's goal was to reunite the North and South and bring unity to the entire nation. Everyone in the nation, regardless of skin color. He died before he accomplished his goal. Look around you and you'll see that goal still has a long way to go. Not long after his death, people began hearing disembodied footsteps in the hallway. When Theodore Roosevelt was in office, he reported seeing Lincoln regularly. In his own words, "I see him in different rooms and in the halls." Calvin Coolidge's wife, Grace, reported seeing Lincoln on many occasions. She's reported seeing him, in her words, in black with a stole draped over his shoulders to ward off the drafts and chills of Washington's night air. She's also reported seeing him looking out the window of the yellow oval room toward the Potomac. He turned and looked at her, then vanished. Many people have reported seeing Lincoln or feeling his presence in that room. Herbert Hoover said he's heard unexplained sounds but never acknowledged seeing Lincoln's ghost. Apparently, Lincoln's ghost was most active during FDR's administration, especially during World War II. During the war, Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands visited the White House while in exile from the Nazi invasion, and she stayed in the Rose Room. One night, late at night, she heard an incessant knocking on the door. Because it was so late, she assumed it must be something significant, so she ran to the door and threw it open. At the door stood, you guessed it, Abe Lincoln. She gave people quite a shock when she told the story at dinner the following night. About a year after taking office, Harry Truman woke up one morning to someone knocking on the door. He answered the door, but no one was there, or in the hallway outside the door. The air around him became ice cold, and he heard phantom footsteps in the hall, walking away from him. Dwight Eisenhower also reported seeing Lincoln's ghost walking the hallways. Lincoln's ghosts began to stir again 100 years after his family lived there, when Jackie Kennedy made major alterations to the furnishings. Gerald Ford and Ronald Reagan officially denied seeing Lincoln's ghost, but they or their family members have said strange things happened while they were there. Unfortunately, this is one of those places you'll never be able to visit without a security clearance or the vote of the people. So, should we discount the accounts of so many people who were supposed to be of sound mind, or do we take it as it is? If you want more detail on the haunting, there's a link to AmericanHauntingsInc.com in the notes, where you can read more about all these accounts. And there you have it. 2 more famous than the last one haunted houses that you may or may not be able to visit. If you have ideas for haunted houses to explore on the show, let me know. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next realm. In the meantime, if you want to support Arcane Ops, go to arcaneops.com and sign up, buy merch, any and all those things. Have a topic or story you want to explore on the show? Go to arcaneops.com/topic and fill out the form. If I use your story, I'll make sure everyone knows it came from you, unless anonymity rules are in play. Until next time, keep your eyes open for the mysterious and arcane.